Hello and welcome to a special report from Smaulgld on the Federal Reserve and their initiative to make the payment system faster. Now, will this Fed Faster Payments Initiative lead to FedCoin? Let's take a look. Federal Reserve Faster Payments Task Force releases its final report. The report envisions a new, highly centralized but regulated and faster payment system. The report also considered a proposal dubbed FedCoin, which would be a digital currency that would be issued by the Federal Reserve. Let's take a look at this initiative. Now, a month or so ago, we heard from Dr. Jens Weidmann, the president of the Deutsche Bundesbank. He's the chairman of the board of directors of the Bank for International Securities, and he gave a speech at the Bundesbank Policy Symposium where he was advocating faster payments. And he was saying, look, we as central banks, if we just had faster payments, instant payments, that's the buzzword. I'm pretty confident this is going to reduce most citizens' interest in digital currencies. Well, the Fed has been striving for a faster payment system, at least as far back as 2013. Now, it looks like Dr. Jens Weidmann is laying down the gauntlet that central banks should now strive for these faster payment systems, and that's going to just make the whole world forget about Bitcoin, Litecoin, and other digital currencies. Now, the Federal Reserve has been very careful not to talk about digitizing and making a cryptocurrency out of the dollar. China has talked about it. Russia's talking about national currencies, but the Fed is not. The Fed has talked about having a faster payment, more secure payment system, but they've not talked about having a Fed coin or a digital dollar. And so part of their initiative for a faster payment system isn't or hasn't been officially stated as being some type of competition to cryptocurrencies. That was something that the head of the German Bundesbank said, but the Fed has not specifically called out that they need to make their payment system faster in order to compete with cryptocurrencies. Now, the Federal Reserve's Faster Payments Task Force, which has been around for a while, has a vision statement, and that vision statement says that by 2020 they'll have solutions that both compete and interoperate to provide payment systems that are faster, ubiquitous, broadly inclusive, safe, highly secured, and efficient. And that, as I mentioned, that mission and objective document from the Faster Payments Task Force does not mention that the goal is to vanquish the cryptocurrencies. But that could be one of the reasons they are doing it, but they have not stated that as a goal. Now, they have released part 1 and part 2 of their final report. Part 1, there's a link here, you can check it out, was released in January, and part 2 was just released this month in July 2017. Now, part two of the Faster Payments Task Force report reveals that unlike private cryptocurrency payment systems like Bitcoin and Litecoin, the Faster Payments Task Force envisions a highly centralized and very regulated payment system that will require a formal governance framework that establishes rules, standards, and a baseline set of requirements for faster payments. The task force also noted that laws and regulations affecting payments and payment service providers will also need to be evaluated to ensure that they are suited to the unique characteristics of real-time payments. So here you have a very top-down driven payment system, centralized and regulated, and the Faster Payments Task Force went one step further and encouraged that Federal Reserve involvement would be required and necessary in administrating the payment system because that would make it faster. Part 2 of this report requests that the Federal Reserve develop a 24/7 by 365 settlement service and requests that the Federal Reserve explore and assess other operational roles the Federal Reserve might need to play to support ubiquity, competition, and equitable access to faster payments. So basically, they're seeing as the Fed at the top of this pyramid, and they're the ones who can administer and make sure that all this works better and faster. Part 2 of the report also noted and gave a nod to innovations taking place in the private cryptocurrency space and advocated continuing research on emerging technologies to deepen understanding of the risks they may pose, as well as the benefits they may offer, including potential for serving underserved end users and cases and use cases. So they're seeing that maybe there might be some value in cryptocurrency where their tentacles apparently don't reach, but they also apparently see cryptocurrencies, or what they call emerging technologies, they don't say cryptocurrencies, as a risk. Now, part of the plan for the task force, the Faster Payments Task Force, was to take a look and get some outside information and proposals, and they yielded some blockchain solutions that were presented. They got 22 proposals from 19 different entities, and they included distributed ledger, blockchain, and digital currency technologies, and list of companies here. And if you go to the report, the link is above here. It's part 2. You can see it. I think it's on page 11. You can see the proposals that they recommend. One of them was interesting, was Wingcash. They proposed a faster payment system. Remember, the purpose of this is faster payments. It has nothing to do with trying to develop a cryptocurrency, but Wingcash said, well, you want a faster payment system, get a crypto. Use a thing that the Federal Reserve issues, a digital currency that would be owned and operated by the Fed, and the Fed would issue that digital currency. They would be called digital Fed notes, not necessarily FedCoin, and they would be tied to the internet domain Fed notes. So that was, now they're not saying that that's going to happen, where they received 22 different proposals from 19 entities. That's one of them, but it is at least theoretically under consideration. There was another one, Fed Cash, maybe, Fast Cash. Mobile Money Corporation presented a cash-based closed-loop solution using mobile money accounts to process banking transactions, including faster payments that would serve the unbanked, underbanked, and some banked. So maybe there's some room for faster payments even using cash. Conclusion is, while it's laudable that the Federal Reserve is serious about speeding up and securing payments in the United States, irrespective of their motives, many might be more interested in seeing the Federal Reserve focused on limiting its currency issuances, outlawing negative interest rates, off-balance sheet transactions, and the monetization of debt. So we'll see what happens. We'll continue to follow this story. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to donate to Smaulgld, you could do so via PayPal, via Patreon. The link's below. You can also donate via Bitcoin or via Litecoin, and you can also make your precious metal purchases through the Smaulgld site and affiliate links. And if you do so, Smaulgld gets a small commission, and you pay no more, no less if you visited those sites directly, so you can compare pricing and shipping at the following websites: bgasc.com, Golden Eagle Coins, SD Bullion, and Money Metals Exchange. Thanks for listening.